What's up, fourth graders? Today I'm going to teach you how readers analyze the author's craft. By paying close attention to the author's use of figurative language, literal language, and descriptive language, we will see how these help the author achieve their purpose. Figurative language is when the author is using language in creative ways, like similes, metaphors, hyperboles, idioms, personification, and onomatopoeias. For example, he ran as fast as lightning. This is one way to write a simile, which is a type of figurative language. Literal language means exactly what it says. For example, the boy ran. This is just saying the boy ran. It does not mean anything else. This is not a very creative way of saying that the boy ran, but it gets the point across. Another type of language that the author can use is called descriptive language. Descriptive language is also known as imagery. Imagery or descriptive language is when the author can use words to put a picture inside the reader's mind. One way that we can tell the author is using descriptive language or imagery is when we see words that relate to smell, taste, touch, hearing, or seeing. These all give us a great picture in our head of what the author is saying. In the book Enemy Pie, we see a quote coming from that book that gives us an example of imagery or descriptive language. The quote says, "As for enemy pie, I still don't know how to make it. I still wonder if enemies really do hate it, or if their hair falls out, or if their breath turns bad." Here, we can see the author connects the sense of smell when he says, their breath will smell bad. Or whenever he mentions that people's hair may fall out with enemy pie, that refers to the author's sense of vision, what they can see. They can see someone's hair falling out. You can picture that in your head. That is why it is called imagery. It creates an image in your head. So today, we are going to create a graphic organizer that will show how we are analyzing the author's craft. We will fill this out together, and then you will do one by yourself. I will provide the Microsoft Word graphic organizer for you to fill in. Then you can upload it into Schoology. Let's get started. So, analyzing author's craft. The word analyzing means we are looking closely at something. So when we are analyzing author's craft, that means we are looking very closely at how the author uses words or language to talk to the reader. In our graphic organizer, we want to know what the text says. Then we want to decide, is that text figurative, literal, or descriptive language? Next, we want to know why the author uses this language. Lastly, we want to know how does this help the author achieve their purpose. Let's start with the first column on our Analyzing Author's Craft graphic organizer. The first column says what text says. We need to go back to Enemy Pie and pick out some words or sentences that stand out to us. I'm looking at the text to see what words or sentences stand out to me. I can pick anything I want because what stands out to me is my opinion. Ooh, look at these words right here. Dad pulled out a worn out scrap of paper from a recipe book. Those words really stand out to me. So I'm going to add that to my graphic organizer under what the text says. Readers, all I did was pull words from the text and add it onto my graphic organizer under what the text says. The text says, Dad pulled out a worn out scrap of paper from a recipe book. So now that I've filled out my part of the analyzing author's craft of what the text says, I can move on to the next part. The next part is asking, is this figurative language, literal language, or descriptive language? If you cannot remember what each type of language is, then I have provided a resource for you to go onto in Schoology, and that resource will show you what each type of language is. You will have to go back to the lesson folder and look at that to help you. I can see that descriptive has the word descript in it, and I know descript sounds like describe, so I know descriptive means language that describes. When it describes, it gives lots of detail. Now, going back to what the text says, it says, Dad pulled out a worn out scrap of paper from a recipe book. They are describing the paper here. The author says it is a worn out scrap of paper. Worn out means really old, so I have a better picture in my head now of what the author means by worn out paper. I can see that in my head. So that is like imagery and that is like descriptive language. So I'm going to add that here. I'm going to write descriptive. Now that we've filled out this part, we're going to move on to this part. It says why author uses this language. Why does the author use this descriptive language? Well, I know that the author uses descriptive language when he wants to put an image inside the reader's head. He wants to give the reader an image so that they can visualize the story. The last thing that I need to do to complete my Analyzing Author's Craft graphic organizer is to fill out this last part that says, how does this help the author achieve their purpose? It's asking, how does this language that the author uses help them achieve their purpose in persuading, informing, or entertaining? I know that this is a fiction book, and so far it's telling a make-believe story. So my background information is telling me the author is trying to entertain us. And whenever he uses descriptive language, that helps it helps the author entertain us better, because now we can actually see the story in our mind, and that makes the story a lot more fun to read. When the author puts an image in our head during a story, it helps the author entertain the reader. This makes it fun. It makes it fun to read. That is how it helps the author achieve their purpose. Remember, whenever you're thinking about how the author is achieving their purpose, you want to think about what the author is trying to do. Is he trying to entertain, inform, or persuade? Make sure that you underline entertain, inform, or persuade in your response. Readers, in order to see my Analyzing Author's Craft graphic organizer completed, go to the exemplar in your lesson folder on Schoology. There are plenty of resources in the lesson folder to help you with this assignment. Do your best. We love y'all and miss y'all.